Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Cask Talk. I'm Paul. This is Dave. I am a beer enthusiast, and Dave here is a beer judge and brewer. And we have been slacking lately because, well, we haven't had time to shoot any episodes. But today we are working on Old Faithful Ale from Teton's Brewing. We already did another one of their beers.
We try that with someone with some arm length here. We can get it up close.
You know, just because I'm short compared to you.
Well, it's not that you're short. It's that you're short and you also have short arms.
Oh, thank you, Dave. Much appreciated. Makes me feel like a good person.
Yeah. I love the can. You
Yeah.
know. So, National Park Series, Old Faithful Ale, really cool. It's got the
Arrowhead.
Yellowstone Arrowhead.
And 5% of the sales from this beer goes to one of their Yellowstone charities for doing stuff.
Yeah. That's
Which
kind
is-
of a cool trend in marketing where you'll see some sort of cause tied to, some sort of product, kind of an enticement or makes you feel good. You're like, hey, and I'm not just getting drunk. I'm also,
Supporting
helping-
something that's important.
I'm helping the National Park
And
Service.
Dave and I actually are both all about doing things like going hiking in national parks. And
Absolutely.
even in local parks, we both, as far back as like high school, we used to go hiking in Cave Creek Park on a trail called Go John Trail, which even today you got to be in decent shape for.
That's a good trail.
It is a good trail.
Yeah, in fact, I took my kids and my wife up to Yellowstone. We actually planned it. You were there when we met. We planned it that night that we wanted to do something like that. It was a fun adventure, and we learned not to put a tent in a wash.
You really had to learn that?
Well,
I'm not even a guy who goes camping, and I know better than that.
we set up at night.
Uh-huh.
It was a fun adventure. Last day it rained like a foot. Everything we had was covered in mud.
Well, we have digressed here, but we could take a look at the beer. And to be honest, I'll shoot it up closer to you so you can see, but it's a cloudy beer with a nice head and decent lacing. It's got some nice protein in there. Looks a little blue because of the light, but it's got a nice smell.
Yeah, it's a blonde ale. So
Getting to appreciate blonde ales a lot more lately. Definitely something you can drink, not feel too weighted down by. It's not too heavy.
yeah, really, really good frothy head. Very white head. Yellow.
Cloudy.
Yeah, a little cloudy. That could even just be the coldness that makes it cloudy. So be curious as it warms up a little bit. Sometimes it'll clear up.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what's causing the cloudiness, or it could be just kind of it's not filtered.
Well, either way, it's got a really nice smell.
Yeah, hoppy smell. I was
Not
really
too
surprised.
hoppy.
Not too hoppy, not like IPA or anything like that, but
No, it's got kind of a
picking up a lot of hop on it.
light citrus and a little bit of vanilla, I think. Is what I'm
Definitely
picking up.
citrusy. Yeah, I'm hearing that. But I think that citrusy, for me, I'm getting that from the hops.
Yeah.
As a citrusy. So maybe it's a type of hops.
It's a pleasant beer.
I mean, light on the bittering units, I think it was 18.
Yeah. It was a
Doesn't
little-
always mean they didn't use a lot of hops. Bittering is caused not by the amount of hops, but the timing of your hops. So when you put hops in at the very beginning of a boil, it goes through a chemical process that converts it into actually a bittering unit. And if you put it in the very end, you're going to get flavor, but it's not going to actually bitter it. So sometimes you can add a lot of flavor, hop flavor to a beer without having to create a lot of bitterness.
Yeah. So you're going to get that IPA strength. It's nice. It's a little creamy,
Mm-hmm. Very crisp.
crisp, yes. Dry. I will say it's dry.
Does have a nice little dryness on the mouth. Nothing like a Chardonnay, and nothing like an IPA.
I'm kind of surprised that it's as dry as it is because it's only a 4.7 alcohol. Normally, to get a drier beer like this, you're much more around like the 5.5 or 6.
So sometimes it's a choice of yeast. So
But the lacing is nice. Look at that.
you end up with a certain level of sugar in a beer when you're making it. And your yeast they'll live so long and then die off. And you're left with a residual amount of sugar that's in it. So depending on the type of yeast that you're using, it's either going to bring it really super dry or it might actually leave it a little bit more sweet. So here they're obviously going with the yeast that's going to live a little bit longer. They're probably using a little less sugar so that they can get to 4.7, still keep it dry.
Yeah, I have to wonder if anybody knows or can talk about it in the comments. All of the national park Grand Teton beers seem to be at 4.7%. So I'm wondering if that's some kind of legal thing where they're brewed. Because I know that there are limits in some states on the alcohol contents of
Well, and
beer.
they're right there near Utah. So
Yeah.
I know Utah's got a lot of rules and laws like that. I'm pleasantly surprised. Normally when you see something that uses like a marketing, we'll say gimmick, right? Like Old Faithful or what did we have? Motorhead?
Motorhead, yes.
Yeah, Motorhead beer, so you're like, hey, cool, well, I'll give it a shot. This actually,
It's a good beer.
it's a good blonde.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of flavor to it. It's really crisp. It does have that citrusy notes to it. I don't know if they're adding any citrus to it, but really pleasant, really good beer. I think far superior to a lot of the big commercial beers. I quite enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a good beer. Yeah, I like it.
It's got a good thickness to it. Now, I haven't been drinking a lot of beer lately, but it could be just the fact like my body's like, hey, this is great. You haven't had this in a while.
No, it's not a thin or watery feeling beer at all.
Mhm.
It's a thicker beer.
Yeah.
It's not like a heavy thick, but it's definitely there.
Yeah, it's got just enough to give that creamy kind of
Yeah.
feel to it.
It's nice.
Light on the palate though, because it finishes really dry. It's got a little bit of hoppiness to it, a really good citrusy.
I don't know that I could drink this beer all night. I'd probably want to change. If I was at a place where they were pouring, I had choice of taps, I definitely have no problem getting 2 or 3 of these, but I think I would want a change for
I think 2 or 3 would be me all night.
you all night. That'd be me for like an hour and a half. But it's like I like Stella Artois. Dave does not like Stella Artois.
Mhm.
I really enjoy like 1 or 2 Stellas and then moving on.
Yeah.
And this is a beer I think I would, 1 or 2 of these, maybe 3, and then I'd probably want to move on to something a little different.
I'm a variety person anyways, so but I see it like almost like a blue moon. Like I really enjoy it like a blue moon or something like that early on in the evening,
And
and
later-
then move towards like some heavier beers or some more character beers or sour beers later on.
Well,
I'd
it
have that like
opens your
first palate.
it opens your
Let's see.
palate. Some beers, like I think this is a great palate opener for other
Mhm.
beers. So well,
Absolutely.
let's
I'm kind of wanting to plan a trip. I wonder if how often this is served up near Yellowstone.
who knows?
So the company is in Wyoming?
I think so. We'd have to go back through our notes. We didn't take that one down.
Well, if you ever get a chance to go up there, great time. Yellowstone National Park is an amazing, amazing place. Lots of things to see, lots of things to do. So,
And there's a giant volcano that could go off and kill all of us.
which is super exciting.
It is, and why not be ground zero? Anyway, this beer is a little burpy too. Let's get to the rating here. Where are you going to put this on the presentation scale, Dave?
I'm going to probably be fairly high on the presentation. I think I'm going to come in at an 8
Really?
on the presentation. The only real drawback is it is a little cloudy, which I'm gonna really be more forgivable on the cloudiness on your darker beers, but when it comes to lighter beers,
You want it clear.
they're so it's such that kind of thing that you expect, when you're looking at a beer is that it be real clear. So it doesn't have to be like super filtered, but they could do some things maybe with either some finings or maybe some of their process if this is just cold shock that's causing it to be a little cloudy. But it's got an amazing head, had a great smell. I love the color. I think they've done a great job on hitting all those notes. Good lacing to it. It just
I gotta
looks
agree
like
with
fun to
you
me.
that it's excellent, but I'm at a 7.5.
Hmm.
And the reason I'm at a 7.5, honestly, is I do not like this yellow color. I don't know what it
Hmm.
is. I just find the color of the beer to be off-putting. So, but other than that, everything else is fine. And to be honest with you, that's probably me being nitpicky,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But some beers, like you look at it in the glass and it looks delicious, and this just to me doesn't look that delicious.
Yeah. Well, when I look at it from a taste standpoint, I think it tastes better than it looks. So I gave it a fairly high rating on the presentation. Probably gonna go 8.5 on the taste.
I'm gonna match you on that one. This is an excellent tasting beer. It's very pleasant to drink.
Yeah, I think they really did a good job hitting a lot of things. I know you tend to like a lot of those dry
Yeah,
beers with the IPAs and the pales and those kind of things.
I
So
like my beers that require me to have water on the side.
yeah, this is definitely one of those. But like a fine wine, I think they've really hit the notch. This is a pleasant type of dryness that you're expecting.
Yeah, it's good. What's your overall impression?
Overall impression, probably going to split the two there. I'm going to say 8.25. I'm happy with the beer. I think that, they've done a great job. It's definitely something that after having, I wouldn't hesitate to have another one.
Well,
So
there is 3 more.
we do have a few more. But if I saw it and if I was at a bar and I wasn't sure about some of the other ones, I might go, yeah, I'll take another one of those just because I know what I'm going to get. And I think it was a good experience. Personal preference, I like this kind of style, surprisingly, done right. And I think they've done
Oh,
it
they did
right
an
here.
excellent job with this beer.
Yeah, so I'm gonna probably do a 7.5 on a personal preference. Obviously I tend to like some of the more Belgian, some of the more real bold beers,
And the Scotch ales.
Scotch ales, those kind of things. But this I really think they've done a phenomenal job, and I enjoy it.
Well, I'm going to go 8 for my overall impression. And as far as my personal preference, I'm going to match you on that 7.5. There are beers I would prefer, but there aren't a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This will definitely work.
Yeah. Well, I think they've done a great job. I'm excited to try. Now this is what, Grand Teton Brewing?
Yes.
Yeah, we've done a Grand Teton Brewing before. I believe it was their amber.
Yeah, it's here
Yeah,
somewhere.
I think we did one of their amber beers a couple episodes back, and I think we were pretty happy with it too.
Yeah, no,
So
they definitely seem to know what they're doing. Grand Teton Brewing Amber.
yeah, so and looks like we gave it pretty good scores too.
Yeah.
So one of the things that when we start seeing some of those, non-big breweries, and we start seeing some multiple ones that we like, that usually means road trip. So I'm going to suggest that we probably at some point here, we're going to take this channel on the road. We're going to go visit some breweries face to face, maybe get some interviews with some brewers, and kind of get that opportunity to, meet people face to face and try some of their beers outside of the normal there.
Yep. Well, at any rate, cheers. Please like, subscribe, share, all that happy crap we probably shouldn't even bother telling you to do because everybody does and you already know. And have a good evening.
Yeah, so share if you can with that person that you know that loves beer, that would love our episode, or maybe someone who just really likes beards, since
Yeah, we're apparently two bearded guys now.
two bearded guys. Thanks for watching, guys.
Night.